And we are live on the United Public Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 New Orleans and 105.3 on the Gulf Coast. The United Public Radio Network. How cool is that? And we are also being live streamed wherever podcasts live, so we're not hard to find, including my YouTube channel. So go there and subscribe. To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps, fellow experiencers, and brothers and sisters in Christ, welcome. This is Father Shawn's Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Father Shawn Whittington. I'm an ordained Catholic priest with the United States Old Catholic Church. I'm a fully professed brother and abbot for the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary. I'm team member with Society of St. Benedict and co-founder of GhostBegone.biz. And yeah, I'm that guy on Eli Roth Presents The Legion of Exorcists, which is currently streaming on HBO Max and doing quite well if you haven't caught that yet. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And if you go there to visit, there's a lot of cool things to see. Both my books are there, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry, and God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2. Both my books are there. And they're available a little less expensive at Amazon, and they also come in an audio version, which is awesome. But if you buy them off the website, they leave my office here. They're author's copies. I autograph them, and they arrive to you enclosed in a beautiful house blessing kit. My new deluxe house blessing kit. And you never know when one of those is going to come in handy. So that's awesome. But another really cool thing about buying them off the website is part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my books goes to support St. Jude and the ASPCA. So how cool is that? You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. Um, what else is on my website? My online course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. If you want to know more about the course before making that type of commitment and enrolling, reach out to me. We can talk about it and see if it's right for you. But this is a course for all you true warriors for Christ out there that want to learn how to draw your line in the sand, make a stand, circle the wagon, and put up a good fight, perhaps the fight of your life against, God forbid, true evil if that ever comes calling. That's the course for you. You can enroll in it right there at the website. All my students that graduate get a stunning diploma certificate of completion, suited for framing, along with some other very special blessed items that you can only get from me. And there's also a place on the website where you can make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues. Most importantly, brothers and sisters, remember, my wife and I, we don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So trust me, I know times are tough, but if you are there visiting the website and you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you, it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Okay, that's my song and dance, and I'm going to stick to it. Today's a great show. It happens once a month. It's a little thing we call here First Fridays with Father Shawn and Annette. The guest, you all, especially all of you that are tuned into the live stream and have access to the chat. We are taking questions from the chat room, the live chat, all show long, including questions from the mailbag. Eventually, we're going to jump into the prayer urn, but that's what today is all about. So, on that note, I'm going to bring out my paranormal partner in crime for this episode of First Fridays with Father Shawn and Annette. I love her. I respect her. I've known her forever. She's a lifelong paranormal experiencer, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. Please give a big, warm paranormal ministry family welcome to the one and only Annette Munich.
Hi, Father Shawn. Hi, everybody. So glad to be here. We always have so much fun on the first Friday shows, and we get a lot of interesting questions and great conversations going, and I love it. And hello to all of our listeners in New Orleans and the Gulf Coast, and we are so grateful for you. Um, and
Michelle Wilfong has joined us, and my good friend Camilla Rosa from Denmark is here. Hi, guys. And we
yes,
can do anything you want to do today, Annette. I got the prayer urn, and I happen to know I've been in there all week long, but I do happen to know there's at least a couple of important prayers still in that urn to get to. The mail bag is full. I even got my haunted carnival Barker top hat with filled with jokes. Even though we've been doing the jokes lately, people keep sending them in, so the hat's full. We can do anything you want to do, including making announcements. And on that note, I would like to make a couple of important announcements if I can. Um, the the guest list for people that want to appear on the show as a guest is longer than my arm. And everybody knows how we work the show here. The first Friday of every month is just you and I open mic. The last Friday of the month is Happy Medium Monthly with Susan Ahern. We usually only have two or maybe, if we're lucky, three Fridays in the middle of the month where we have a guest. So I'm booked till the end of the year, and the list of people that still want to come on the show is, like I said, as long as my arm. So I'm going to make the official announcement here that we're opening up First Fridays with Father Shawn and Annette to booking guests also. If somebody reaches out to us at the last minute and really needs to come on, they got a TV show coming out or an event they're going to be appearing at or a book they just published and they really want to come on, or you, Annette, any of your friends that you're chatting with that uh, you reach out to me all the time and tell me about this person or that person that would make a great guest. Boom! I'll just say, well, go ahead and book them. Next, next available first Friday, go ahead and book them. But I want people to continue to tune into that first Friday show because I'm going to surprise a lot of you with a very special guest appearance that I'm not going to announce until that day, and then boom, they'll just appear and everybody will be surprised. So I'm going to pull that on everybody too from time to time. So, and another announcement I'm going to make is this time next month, we're going to be celebrating my 10th year anniversary with the show. So
yay!
that's going to be huge. And I'm not making any promises, but you and I have been working on something together, and we may have a big Halloween announcement that we will
Yes,
make next, the first Friday episode in October. We may make that announcement. And I'm not making any concrete promises,
this
but
is a
it's looking
pre-announcement
good.
announcement.
It's looking good. So that I'm looking forward to that next month.
Yes, I think that will be awesome. And how does it feel to have been doing this for 10 years?
It feels like I just started doing it yesterday. I still know for a fact that I haven't a clue what I'm doing. Why people tune in amazes me. Um, and it is what it is. I enjoy it. It's like I remember, like it was yesterday. I was all depressed at the dinner table, and then we're going back to October of 2015. And my wife said, "What are you so depressed about?" And it just hit me. You know, I'm a hardworking blue collar guy. I'm retired now, but I was just a hardworking blue collar guy surviving from paycheck to paycheck as a veterinary technician. And I see all these paranormal conferences, paracons, paranormal conventions, all these people that I admire in this field that are this crazy field of ours, paranormal investigations. And I just realized I couldn't just quit my job, travel around the country, and meet all these people at all these events. So she just without even batting an eye, I couldn't believe she just blurted it out. She goes, "Why don't you have a radio show?" And I just thought that was the funniest thing because I had no clue how to go about it. And I had a friend at the time who just started her own radio show or radio network, online radio network. And so I reached out to her and she So why don't we get together and meet for coffee and talk about it? And so we did. And she showed up with a contract, and the rest is history. So um, I've asked Sharon. I go, do you really still enjoy the show? Do you, if you're getting tired of it, I'll stop doing it. She goes, no, I love it, and it's one of the things I look forward to when I get home from work on Friday is to have my lunch or my early dinner, sit down, relax, and I watch the replay of your show on your YouTube channel. And
Uh,
so I love the show. So it was her idea, and she, back in the day when I had to pay for my own airtime, she paid for that. She was my producer. So
uh,
and I enjoy it. Especially now. You're my first permanent co-host that I've had, so I enjoy hooking up with you every week and doing our thing together. And then we bring a guest on, or we have Susan on at the end of the month, and we have great people that tune in and throw questions at us in the chat room. So it's just a fun thing. It's only an hour, so it
right.
flies by. Who knows? Maybe you and I'll go to another day a week if our schedules permit that, or maybe talk to Michelle DeRoche and see if maybe we can squeeze any more time out of this time slot. I don't know. Who knows what the future may hold, but I'm happy.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of fun and a really good time considering the sometimes very serious nature of what we're talking about. And I think that makes us a little bit, I guess everyone wants to think they're unique. Uh, but I think we are a little bit different, and we do, handle some very serious issues the best we can, and then joke around a little bit too and keep it from getting very, very, you know, dark and dreadful feeling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, well, what do you want to do? Camilla says she used to host Christian radio and a country music show. Wow. Loved it long ago, though. Camilla, you may have to, Annette uses this term a lot, dust herself off. She always says, well, you pulled me off the shelf and dusted me off to get me back into the co hosting scene. You may just have to do that, Camilla. I bet you were awesome at it. And, you know, uh, if it's a passion and you still love it and miss it, I say go for it, Camilla. I'd tune in. Absolutely. Well, what do you want to do in that? I've got all kinds of things here. I got a full prayer urn. I got a full mail bag. I've got some questions last minute that some people sent in to me. What do you want to do?
Let's do the last minute questions, and then we can hit the mailbag in the prayer urn.
Very,
Unless
very cool.
something else comes up, that's a topic.
Well, anybody out there watching who has access to the live chat, the door's open. This is the show that you want to, if you have any questions, want to put Annette's feet to the fire on anything, or rake old Father Shawn over the coals on any, no topic is off the table. You can, this is the show to ask those questions. Um, what do I got here? Somebody is asking about the blood moon, which is Sunday. Somebody is also asking about the total lunar eclipse on the 22nd, and basically wanting to know if we do anything special. And I will throw that at you first before I answer that.
I don't usually do anything special for the moon phases, and I do follow it along a little bit, and I do that out of curiosity because um, astrologers will say that it's going to have this effect or that effect, and then I kind of watch on a global and societal level and see if that rang true. But I don't do anything special for it, and I don't do anything that would seem like magical. I've heard if you put stuff out and let the um, positive full moon energy shine on it, that it could be another way of blessing things, but I don't do that. I do Christian way. So I guess I would say I follow along on all those things, but I don't do anything really special about it, just curious. But Susan would have had a better answer, maybe.
Well, I remember back in the day because I don't use smudging fans anymore. I have a couple of beautiful smudging fans that were made for me by chiefs of indigenous tribes, and I used to use them smudging houses a lot. So whenever the any full moon would come around, they would tell me to put my fans out and have them lay under the full moon overnight to cleanse them and regenerate them. So I don't do that much anymore. But you did mention that I am a self-proclaimed weirdo. I will go out and sit in a lawn chair in my front yard with all my cats on a special full moon occasion, like coming up Sunday or on the 22nd, and I will just personally meditate, do some praying, and soak up the moon. I do believe that there's a lot of very uh, positive, powerful energy that oozes from the moon, and so that makes me a little strange. It is what it is. I'm the first one to admit I am a little
I
strange, but I will do that.
I don't think it's strange. I spend a lot of time. You want to hear strange? Do you want to hear strange?
I'm almost afraid to say yes with you, but yes.
I spend a lot of time out on the porch, and I'm out there with the dogs, and I am very kind of in tune with nature now. I really enjoy it. I look at the moon. I've seen two UFOs out there. I got a frog that comes up, and he's by me a lot. He's kind of new. I named him Prince Albert, the Prince Albert the frog. I got hummingbirds, and I really enjoy nature. And I do notice the moon cycles. I am looking. Um, a lot of butterflies, a lot of very cool things. I saw a roadrunner bird last week. You don't have those. Well, do you
Yeah,
have
we
those?
do. We had. It's funny you bring that up because I was actually putting my trash out not too long ago and running. I was went down my driveway, which is a little bit of a hill. We've got these huge trash cans on wheels, and I was wheeling one down there and come running down the street. I mean, the thing must have been up to my knee
Yeah.
standing. It was a huge, really healthy, buffed looking roadrunner come running down the middle of my street. And I actually panicked a little bit because when it saw me, it started running at me. And I actually panicked a little bit and kind of backpedaled quickly back up my driveway. And when it got to my driveway, it veered off and then went down the sidewalk. It probably saw my cats and said like, ah. But they're an awesome looking bird in the wild. To actually see one up close and personal in the wild, they're an awesome bird.
Well, we also have big birds of prey here, and we're right by the creek. And I even have a picture. I didn't take it. My daughter took it of a bald eagle. Um, we have vultures, all different kinds of hawks, all kinds of things. Really kind of magnificent. I do enjoy it. I really do. Um, I haven't seen anything too creepy crawly, and I am on the lookout for that too because it's Oklahoma. What I'm talking about right there is snakes and anything, but I haven't really seen anything like that. So, but yeah, I noticed the moon phases. Um, I do feel a different energy sometimes with the full moon. Um, I think it's very healthy for a human being to be outside a lot, and I notice a lot more things than I think a lot of other people would because I'm sitting out there. When you're sitting out there in the quiet, you know, You don't just look at things, you see things.
Absolutely. It's funny you bring up animals. I still have the black bunny out there running around in my yard, hanging out with my cats. He's got to
Uh-huh.
be eating the cat food. I don't
He's
dare
yours now.
put. I don't want to put rabbit food out there. I don't know if cats can digest rabbit food, so I don't want to do that. But he must be eating the cat food, and he's big, and he chases the cats around, which I find hilarious
Well, he's
because
got
I
to
don't think.
be a domestic rabbit that someone let loose.
Yeah, he's got to be. And he can hang out here if he wants. He can adopt one of the many cat carriers we have out there to give them shelter if he wants to adopt one. There's food and water out there, and he can hang out as long as he wants. But I just find it hilarious that he chases my cats around. He comes running at them, and they next thing you know, they're all on top of the cars, looking down at it like, well, what is that? So it's just I find it hilarious. But yeah, he's still hanging around. And Heidi had mentioned she's a moon child from way back. So for all you moon child's children out there, this Sunday, don't forget, mark your calendars, is the blood moon. And then later this month on the 22nd is the total solar eclipse. And we don't get many of those. So that's going to be special. So the next thing somebody had sent in to me, I guess, I don't remember which show it was. You and I must have had a show recently talking about portals, and somebody had sent me
Interesting.
a list of portals. And it's interesting how some of them I knew about and some I didn't. I knew about mirrors and I knew about TV static making white noise. I've done that many times and I've done the white noise. I still use the old handheld voiceover recorders that use the little cassette decks because they say that the tape itself, when you're playing these or recording on them, create their own white noise and attract more electronic voice phenomena, which I've experienced that with my little recorders. Um, Hair and personal items. I knew about the hair being attached to Southern Hoodoo and Voodoo. I remember when I went to go spend a week in New Orleans many, many years ago at a concrete convention. A woman came up to me and told me,
You
freaked me
went to a
out.
concrete convention?
Oh yeah, 20 years ago, I had my own saw blade company, um, selling diamond saw blades for
Wow.
cutting concrete and brick and mortar and things. There was a big convention there, and I stayed at a haunted hotel down in the heart of the French Quarter. And when I checked in, this woman came up to me in the lobby, didn't work there, told me after I brushed my hair to make sure I take the hair out of the brush and put it in a little Ziploc bag and take it with me and discard it somewhere. Don't leave it in my brush or leave it in my room. And then walked away. And I thought that really creeped me out. I'm like, I did it. I would make sure that my combs and my brushes, even my little beard combs, I didn't make sure any hair was left in them, and that freaked me out. So I knew about that. Um, Doorways and thresholds I knew about. Beds I didn't know about beds. Um, Especially sick beds can be portals. I didn't know about that. Um, Water. Someone said if you fill up your sink to wash your face or to shave, you've instantly made a portal. Toilets. I knew about toilets. I've been at old ghost busting many, many years ago at old historic locations where they still had water running and some of the toilets would be filled with water and people would squat. If I was there with any psychic mediums, they would use the toilets to scrying over. So I knew about that. Old family Bibles and hidden journals, I knew about that too. So
Well,
um,
I guess I would have to, and I have been thinking about this lately quite a bit, and you know why. Um, Adhering to what I think of a portal to be which a portal would be like a way for spirit to come into one location. It's like an open door. They come in, they go out. However, it's made usually it's made by some kind of spell work, but sometimes people will call something a portal and they're living next to a graveyard. So there's
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know
Or
if I.
find out many years later, like a lot of people that have reached out to me for help over the years live in areas that were quite active back during the Civil War time and even further back east, Revolutionary War time. And they find out many years after living on the land that they live in at one time, it was a mass grave site because there was a battle there or something of that nature. So that occurs all the time too. But yeah, that living next door to to the uh, the cemetery or
But
the
is
or
that really a portal though?
um you're asking the wrong guy. I mean, you know what else confuses me? The difference between like a vortex and a portal.
And I've been
Not
thinking
too
about that.
Yeah, I'm
And
not too clear on the differences there. If somebody
the
in the chat
vortex,
knows the difference.
vortex is kind of a high energy area. Kind of like if you think about Sedona, and people go in there and they meditate in that energy, and that's all positive energy. But I like a place where there's a big collection of natural energy. It could also be
Yeah,
the
Earth
negative.
energy spots. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And then there's ley lines and different things like that. And I think those are all natural and they're not made and affected by anything. I don't know if you can try to make one or try to close one or, uh, I want to take a look at what Camilla's saying here.
Well, she's answering Jerry. There's a hi Jerry. Jerry says she puts. I think it's. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I can't see either or. It doesn't matter. It says I put my TV on white noise and black screen at night. Is that considered static screen? I'm not sure what static screen
Yes, it is.
would be
Oh,
considered, and I don't know why you're if you're doing that for a particular reason, Jerry, or if it just I'm not sure. Um,
the well,
I used to carry I used to actually carry around this old TV back in the day that was UHF, VHF, had the rabbit ears, and I would take it to investigations, and it didn't receive any channels anymore that we know of because the TV took a dump. But any channel you put it on would still have the staticky white noise thing happening, and I would have some very interesting communications and actually some visual anomalies show up on this TV from time to time at these really spirit infested locations would they'd really go at this TV. So that I but that when I'm done watching my TV at night, I turn it off. I don't it. Having said that, um, my TV is so huge it becomes like a mirror when it's off, and boom, there you go. Top of the list here is mirrors, and I've seen things in my TV to the point where sometimes I turn off and I don't even want to look at it anymore. I go right to sleep, or I go into my office to work, or I go read. So there's that.
I don't. Well, it's kind of interesting, and now I'm kind of old school. So, can you even find white noise on your TV anymore? Don't all the channels have something going 24/7? When you and I were younger, everything went off, late at night, early in the morning, and that was it. And then there was just the, white noise and the static sound until the farm report in the morning. They didn't have, um, oh, okay, she said she could find it on YouTube. And some people like that sound or they like a fan just because
Oh,
they
I
like
know
the
what Jerry
sound.
means. Yeah, I understand, Jerry. That's okay. I understand now. Yeah. I need to, like me for instance, I have to sleep. I have to need ambient noise to help me sleep. So I sleep with a big large box fan that sits on the floor. I turn that on at night when I go to sleep. Um, so I think that's what Jerry's doing there, and that's okay, I think. But it's now you've creeped me out a little bit in that because you've said that. You're absolutely right. There should be something. I don't think you can just find a channel that would just give you that, like back in the day when a channel went off the air at 3 in the morning
Right,
after playing the national anthem. You get that like in
right,
Poltergeist. Now that's funny you say that because every once in a while my TV will just do that randomly, day or night, usually right in the middle of me watching something. Um, I now know somebody's trying to reach out to me, and I try and drop into a meditative state and try to get a message. Because I've had the cable guys come out and everything looks great. They don't know why that would be happening to my TV. I even had the Geek Squad come out and check like my high def plugs in the back of the TV to see if they're loose or if they're going bad, and no one's been able to find out why my TV is doing that. But you're right, it does that from time to time. So that obviously is a clear message from someone or something, um, to cause my TV to do that.
hmm.
Interesting. Well, that's it. I have another. Somebody sent me. You and I must have. Excuse me. We must at one time talked about. I must have said to somebody dealing with something of a malevolent nature in their home that there's. We don't know what all the rules are, but they do play by rules on the other side. And if you can tap into that, and you go along, you know, when you're trying to banish something really malevolent from your home, there's rules to play by, and if you play by those rules and you stick to that, ABCD, that list, cross all your T's and dot all your I's in the process of banishment, it almost always is effective. But it's when you start buying into the parlor tricks that they're throwing at you, and you're not focused and you're just kind of randomly doing whatever to try and get this thing to leave, that's when they hand you your lunch, and you got to be very careful with that. So someone sent me a whole list of the unseen laws here. Since that list is so long, what I might do is make that a show. Maybe I'll do that next first Friday. If you want to get to the mailbag, we
Yes,
can
I
do
love that.
our October show can be all about the unseen laws.
Nice.
Alrighty, you ready for the mailbag?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me see what I got in here.
And
Okay.
for Camilla's question, while you're doing that, that reminds me of one of my favorite saints, which is Padre Pio. And there are stories of him being in more than one place at the same time. So we don't really understand how that works because we're linear people and we're on the earth plane. And a lot of things I think, don't make sense, and yet they are. But yeah, he would. They would say that there'd be reports of people seeing him actually in a different town, and he's doing his thing and talking to people at the same time he's back in his home parish. And that brings me to a question. Oh, before we go any farther, I went to Carol Ann's show yesterday. Great conversation, and she had Michelle DeRoche on there. And I've been going to some of Michelle's shows. And anyway, they were talking about that a little bit too.
Hmm.
About how things could be happening with someone in two different locations. And I tried to get a doppelganger. You know me and the doppelganger thing. I just can't let go of the doppelganger.
Yeah, well,
No one had any answer about that. But it's all very interesting. But, we just think on a flat plane and we think very linear and we don't think of energy like spider web or a matrix or something. We don't think in that way. We can't experience life in that way, so we don't understand it, and I don't think we will understand it. But she reminded me of Padre Pio, who is probably my favorite saint, and he had this stigmata, and he was alive while we were alive.
Yeah.
He's not from so long ago. He was alive into the late 60s, I believe. So, but that's, I don't know if they call that translocation, something bilocating. Yeah. And he's not the only one, but it's very interesting.
Oh yeah.
So, and there was a man in the chat room we're going to do a whole show about Carol Ann's show yesterday. Um, there was a man in the chat room, and I asked him because, we interview people, so I started asking him questions. He had a friend of his see him in a bar, and he looked regular, but he was actually at home and not in that bar at all. And he sent him a message, and he was like positive that that was him. So I wonder how it feels to have somebody say, you're at home doing your regular stuff, and somebody says, "Hey, I just saw you here, there, or whatever." And that's got to feel really creepy, right?
Yeah.
That's a doppelganger experience, right?
Oh yeah.
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 And you don't even know it.
Well, Sharon has seen. Yeah, I've told you this story about Sharon
Right.
has seen me here, just right here in this spot, working. Um, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've seen the apparition that she claims my doppelganger turns into. I've seen that apparition, but I haven't seen me. I think that would be kind of freaky.
Right.
you know, um, I don't know. I do want to give a shout out to Jerry real quick. Jerry said she would like that list. I think it's the list of the unseen laws. Maybe it was the hidden portals. Jerry, I'm on Facebook as Lawrence Morace, Morace, Lawrence Morace. My name is also on there too, but that's an old stage name. If you want to send me a private message, I'll forward that list to you. Um, both lists if you want them, or just let me know which list it was you wanted. But are you ready for the first question?
Yeah, she's saying she would love that list. It's why I'm afraid of the dark. I also do not like the total dark. I'm not a fan of the total dark. Some little light somewhere. It don't
Oh,
have to be a lot. I just don't want something to be able to sneak all the way up on me before I realize it. And the next thing you know, this happened to me before. I felt and heard breath in my ear in the total darkness. That
hmm.
was very scary.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we have Everett. Everett. I like
Everett,
that name. Everett in Kansas. Hi, Everett.
kind of cool. Hi, Everett.
He says a my whole family is in denial that those noises in our attic are ghost footsteps. How can I convince them? they to be honest with you, Everett, they don't want convincing.
They don't want
They're not in
convincing.
denial. They're freaked out. So
They want to think it's squirrels or something.
I wouldn't push it, but let me tell you something. I have an old trick. Every time I've used this trick, it's worked. You go to the art store, if you got an art store, an art supply store, and buy a piece of black poster board. Then get yourself a a container of baby powder. Find the location where you think these footsteps are happening. Lay the poster board down, then sprinkle the baby powder on the poster board. In a couple of days, go back and check the poster board. You may be um, a little freaked out, shocked, if you will, at what you might see imprinted on this poster board. This I've many times have caught spirit footprints on these poster boards in the baby powder, and then you take a can of Final-Lit airspray, old school Final-Lit hairspray, and you spray a good coat of it down on top of these footprints. Let it dry, and now you've got something you can frame and put up on your wall and say, "Look, I captured the ghost that walks in my attic, and there's the footprints." Um, that will freak people out too. But I used to spray the footprints so that I had them long enough to show the owner or show other investigators that were with me, this is what I caught. I've never actually framed them, but a friend of mine said, you ought to frame those because I started getting quite a collection of them. And they said you should frame those and just make a little art gallery in your house of all the ghost footprints you've captured. I even captured the footprint of an elephant once at a animal cemetery, a,
Wow.
a pet cemetery. They
There was
buried
an elephant in the pet cemetery.
they have a large equine section in this pet cemetery where they buried horses, and a famous circus elephant was buried there, and people were seeing this elephant at night roam around the pet cemetery.
Wow.
So I went to the actual grave site of this elephant, and I laid this poster board down, and I sprinkled
I'm going to say only you at this point, but go ahead.
I sprinkled the poster board down of all of this stuff, and I went one step further. I opened up a large bag of shelled peanuts because elephants love peanuts, and I sprinkled peanuts all around this gravesite. Yes, was there a ton of cockroaches there when I went back to check? Yes, enjoying the peanuts. But sure as plain as day, right in the middle of this poster board was this big footprint of something large, and it was so heavy that it had pressed the poster board down and caused it to bow up. Um, I never forgot that. So that's
Interesting.
an old trick. If somebody, a lot of people go, I've heard that before. I just put it down on the floor, and then I'll come in and think I captured footprints. I captured footprints. That's okay too. But if you want to have physical evidence you can hold on to afterwards, and not just tell somebody I captured footprints up in the attic, and then later on, of course, I swept it away. There's a way to actually capture them. So I think Everett, your family's a little freaked out. You might want to just kind of let that just kind of quietly go away with that. I think your family's freaked out. That's my
Well,
advice.
Everett, you can do it Father Sean's way, which involves actually going into your haunted attic and putting down a poster board and powder, and then involves going back into your haunted attic. Or you could do it my way and throw holy water at the attic door and nail it shut. Because we don't really need attics anyway. And then go ahead and believe that it's squirrels like the rest of your family or whatnot, and you'll all be happier.
Yeah, you will be happier.
I did an investigation. I'm usually not an investigator, but this guy needed help. Okay, so he had a haunted restaurant. Well, wait a minute. He doesn't think it's a haunted restaurant. He thinks it's a very old building. He thinks the upstairs is haunted and the basement is haunted. By the way, he has a haunted tunnel. And do I want to go check out his haunted tunnel? Which, no, I do not. Because, do you need that tunnel? You don't. Throw some holy water down there and salt and nail that shut. You know, I don't do haunted tunnels. So anyway, but he didn't think the regular restaurant part was haunted, just above and below and the tunnel. And so that was very cute. We got a ton of evidence there. But the point being, he convinced himself that it's haunted upstairs and downstairs in a haunted tunnel, but right here is not, which is not very logical. But okay, that's how people live with things. They tell themselves things.
You ready for question 2?
Okay.
We got Bobby from California. Hi, Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
Bobby says, "I live in Northern California. If I hadn't heard it with my own two ears, I would never have guessed you had a Bigfoot experience." You must be talking to me. Can you
Yeah.
share your story? I too am an experiencer. Tell you what we'll do, Bobby. That story, we don't have a whole lot of time left. That's not a very short story. And I promise you, I will leave your question out and put it in a folder that I keep of guests that I have on all the time that are
We're-
Bigfoot people, and I will make sure that the next time I will tell my story. I might even, you and I. I'm not going to give away what you and I are
I,
working on,
I
Annette, but
think that we should get a product and make available your super sneaky slippers for squatching.
yeah, I
He
will tell
goes
that
squatching
story,
in his
Bobby. I
slippers with
promise
a
you.
cup of coffee in his hand. I think that that's adorable.
If I make my announcement that I want to make next month on my 10-year anniversary of the show, if I'm able to make it, and it's the thing that Annette and I are working on, perhaps I may write about that story in this project we're working on. But I promise you, Bobby, I'll leave your question out. And the next time I have a Bigfoot guy on, I promise you I will share my story
And our
with you.
resident Bigfoot guy is Carl Supp. And
Yes.
he has had 13 encounters. He's quite magnificent, and he's in Arizona. So if you're able to keep an eye out for when Carl's around, he usually comes up about 3 times a year on the show, wouldn't you say?
Probably in that neighborhood. I always give them a few months between appearances to give them time to go somewhere and do a little squatching and attend an event here or there, and then have some stories to tell when he comes back. So yeah, every 3 4 months I try to have him on. Um, Next question is from Janet in Pennsylvania. Hi, Janet.
Hi, Janet.
She says, "When I was young, I felt the touch of pure evil. Now that I am older, married, and with kids, is it okay to celebrate Halloween? Advice." Wow, that's a great question. And
That's a really good question, and you've written a little bit about that. I um, I think it is okay to celebrate Halloween as long as you understand what it is and what you're doing, and that you make sure that what you're doing is just something fun and lighthearted for the kids. And um, I think that we have a problem in the world where a lot of people unwittingly participate in things that are quite bad, and they don't know that they are. They don't know any better, and um, so that's kind of scary to a certain extent. I I think we're living in the devil's playground, but don't get me started.
well, I agree with you 100%. It's all intent. In fact, one of the cases that they featured on Eli Roth Presents was and the story that was the one thing they didn't put in the story when they re-edited it to put it in the 20-minute time frame of that episode, was that woman that my wife and I were trying to help, when you walked into her house, I'd never seen anything like it before. Her home was plastered ceiling to floor, wall to wall, every room with Halloween stuff.
Hmm.
And it was almost like walking into the most intense Halloween decoration store you'd ever walked into. And I think in when it got to that excess, I don't think the decorations brought the demonic into her home. But once they were there, they were using a lot of these items as conduits to move things, to take energy off of and react. Because a lot of the stuff was like antique Halloween decorations, where they came from, who knows.
Right? Yeah.
So that was, I just tell people, don't have a lot of demonic looking stuff for Halloween decorations. Devils, demons, witches, just, ghosts. Great. Have your kids dress, put a sheet over them with a couple of eyeballs and walk around and get candy. or anything they may want to dress up as in that's not a demon or a devil or a witch. Anything other than that, and I wouldn't keep the decorations out all the time, but it's all intent. But you got kids. Kids love Halloween. You got to give them what they want. You know, the only reason why Sharon and I don't celebrate Halloween here anymore was after being here for 25 years, everybody knows this is the haunted house on the block, and kids stopped coming here. In fact, the parents would knock on the door, and Sharon and I would open it up, and there would be the mom or the dad, trick or treat, and their kids would be down on the sidewalk. They were too scared to come up, and mom and dad would come up, and Sharon and I decided one night that, when it got to that point, we said, let's just not put the decorations out and celebrate Halloween anymore because, the whole neighborhood's in on it, and they just don't even want to come here anyway. So let's just leave it at that. So
Now, I really get that, but I remember um, not just when I was a kid, but when I was taking my kids trick or treating, because I love interesting houses, and that would be my excuse to go up to the door and knock on it, whether I thought it was just interesting architecturally, an interesting property, a home that seemed kind of spooky. Well, it's Halloween, so now we get to see who lives there, and we get to, this is awful, look around them a little bit when they open the door and be like, ooh, that's interesting, see, what the place is. This makes me sound terrible, but it's just curiosity. And on Halloween, you can knock on the door and you can see who lives there and get a little look at the place and get a Snickers bar.
there you go. Well, that's it for the questions. We don't have a whole lot of time left. I'm going to feel really bad if we don't take at least one peek into the prayer urn. Do you want to hang out for a prayer, or do you want me to?
Yes.
Okay. This is the prayer urn, everybody. Everybody hears about the prayer urn all the time. And let me get the one that's on top and see what we got here. We got Betty in Alabama. Hi, Betty.
Hi, Betty.
I'm of the age now where I'm watching many of my lifetime friends pass away. Ditto. I'm in need of a prayer for the dearly departed. You know, Betty, God bless you. That's a very selfless request that you would want not prayers for yourself, but prayers for all your friends that have passed over. I'm 65 now. Sharon's in her early 80s. We too are experiencing the same thing. So let me offer up a prayer
And
for
I have
Betty and all of our
I
all
have
of
a
our dearly
cousin
departed.
that recently died.
Yep, you did. That's right. Okay. Are you guys ready? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, accept my prayer for all those in purgatory for whom I should pray because of ties of family, gratitude, justice, or charity. Have mercy on my relatives, friends, and benefactors, as well as those who hold positions of authority, both civil and religious. Admit all to your eternal happiness in heaven. Eternal rest grant to them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them. May they all rest in peace. Amen. You know what? I am also going to light a candle for you, Betty, and for all of our dearly departed. And this candle will continue to burn until it's done burning. It will leave my desk here and go into the room where I have all the candles burning. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. May the Holy Spirit enter and intervene in the lives of everyone who have recently lost a dearly departed, and that this candle burns and shows all of the dearly departed the path to heaven. Amen.
Amen.
All righty. We've got just a few minutes left. Let me make an announcement for our next show. Actually, next week, Friday, September 12th, Michelle DeRoche and Annette Munich will put their heads together and they will go digging into the deepest archives of the Dark Vault and pick a wonderful fan favorite episode to replay next Friday because I have some very important personal family business to take care of, so I will not be here. And of course, Annette has the green light to do the show herself if she so chooses to, but she'll probably end up playing a replay next month, but next week, I should say. But the Friday after that, you guys are going to love this guest. Friday, September 19th, is Clarissa Vasquez. She is the founder of the Colorado Coalition of Paranormal Investigators, and she just came out with another book, Generational
Nice.
Curse, which we will talk about her new book. I'm in reading it now. It's very interesting. So that will be that following Friday after that. And
We've
I
had her
love,
on before. She's good.
and she loves you too, and loves the show, and she too has had some recent family tragedies kick in, which I, she's on my prayer list. So, having said that, I think it's that time. I loved the show today, and I will see you in 2 weeks. And it's up to you what you'd like to do next week. If you want to, you and Michelle want to go digging in the dark vault for a replay, great. If you want
It
to,
sounds scary.
but if you want to do the show yourself, you've got the green light to do that. Whatever you decide to do. Other than that, I will see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and have a great night and a great weekend.
Annette Munich, I'll see you later. The owner of Stellium Books. If you are thinking about writing a book, or you've written a book and you want to know how am I going to get this thing published, especially if you need help writing one, reach out to Annette. That's what she does. Got God? Well, if you want to join a church that accepts everybody, and I mean that, everybody, take a look at the United States Old Catholic Church. You might be pleasantly surprised. And if you already have a good relationship with God, but you feel a calling to have a closer relationship with Him, reach out to the abbot of the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary. That would be me. And we will discuss this calling of yours. Perhaps the Benedictines are in your future. I want to thank United Public Radio Network for carrying my show, Joe Montaldo, Michelle DeRoche for making that happen. God bless them. And God bless each and every one of you for tuning in because I know I don't have a show without you guys. And I mean that. That's heartfelt. I know I do not have a show without you guys tuning in and supporting me. So thank you all for that. Remember, brothers and sisters, we may have done what the devil said we did, but we are not who the devil says we are. And don't look back because you're not going that way. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out to me. We're taking sponsors. I'll give you and your brand a shout out live during the show. All right. Good night, Danny. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Peace. Stay tuned for Spirit Switchboard coming up with Carrie Lynn Shellhorn. Good night, everybody.